Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of crEATe. Today I'm making saddle of deer venison with rutabaga mash, and I'm starting off by cutting the onion, carrot and celeriac into bite-sized pieces. This will be only the base for the venison and not be in the dish in the end, so it's okay to just cut it kind of roughly. And while I do that, I just want to let you know that this is one of the longer recipes, as you can see in the description below, but it's very, very yummy and definitely worth trying and giving it the time. So I'm putting all of the veggies into a roasting tray afterwards, and then it's time to wash and put the venison on top. The last thing before I put it into the oven that is preheated to 200 degrees Celsius or 180 if you have air ventilation in your oven. I will put some slices of bacon on top. That actually was not caught on camera, but just to make sure that the venison does not dry in the oven, just put some slices of bacon on top and it will be juicy and lovely in the end. So this recipe, as I said, takes quite a while, but it's rather simple to put together. There's not a lot of well, cutting and dicing and stirring and whatnot. The most time spent is pretty much the meat in the oven, right? The sauce is a bit more on the more work side, but the meat itself is very simple to put together. So as a side dish, I decided to have rutabaga mash, which is a very lovely seasonal food for winter, and I'm just peeling it and then cutting it into pieces so that it cooks within 15 to 20 minutes in slightly salted water, and that is pretty much the base for the mash. It has a quite tangy and earthy taste, but I think it works perfectly with a bit of thyme and the meat in the end. So this recipe also comes with a second side dish and something that is more on the sweet part, which is pears that are going to be filled in the end. So I'm taking these 2 pears, 1 per person is just fine. I'm halving it and taking out the core. And you have enough time to do that while the meat is in the oven. So I'm just putting them into a pot, and then I'm adding a tiny splash of lemon juice and the white wine, which is 200 milliliters. And then I just put it onto the oven and let it heat and then simmer on a low to medium heat on the oven. In the meanwhile, I'm also cooking the rutabaga, and with the rutabaga I go high heat because I want to have it done fast. Since this dish is for 2 people only, it doesn't take too much time. So the venison is maybe 35 minutes, 40 minutes in the oven. It doesn't take too long, so it's just enough time to prepare the mash and have the pears be cooked. So while both of these pots are on the stove, I'm preparing all of the other liquids like the cream, and I measure the red wine and whatnot. So that's that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, with the venison, you also put a tiny bit of like 125 milliliters of the red wine. Just put it in the tray with the venison, so it cooks nicely. We need the rest of the red wine for the sauce. So once the pears are done, which is about 10 minutes, I just put them out and then I let them cool down. They soften enough afterwards on the plate while you let them sit, so they will be lovely and soft and tender. The Rutabaga needs a bit more, maybe like I said, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how strong and how firm your root is in the end. But you should be fine by 20 minutes max. And once that's done, I'm moving it to my food processor, and I just put all of the root in, together with 250 grams of cream. And I'm taking lactose-free cream here, just as a note, because paleo. I'm also putting in maybe 2 sprigs of, or the leaves, I should say, of 2 sprigs of thyme, with a bit of salt and pepper, and that's all the mash needs. And then you just pretty much blitz it up. Once I have done that, I will put it back into the pot. So I'm removing the water, and then I put it back into that pot that I'm just taking the roots out of, and let it sit on the stove to keep it warm for the point where when dinner is ready to be served. It's enough heat. It won't burn, but it will keep it warm. So that's all you gotta do. Next, when the meat is ready, I just take it out of the oven. You can see the bacon on top there, and I'm taking off the bacon, put it onto a plate together with the meat, and then I cover it with tin foil for about, let's say, 10 minutes, and let the meat and the bacon just rest. And the tin foil will make sure that the meat stays warm enough and not cool down too fast. So now that the meat is resting, I'm putting on a pot on high heat, and I prepare the sauce, which is the last thing before serving. And I'm taking the sauce from the roasting tray. I'm not gonna add the veggies. You could do them, you could mash them up and add them, which would make the sauce thicker. But I'd like to have more of a thinner sauce on this particular dish, since I do have the rutabaga mash with it, which is the thicker part of the dish that soaks up all of the sauce. So I'm just letting the liquid drip into the pot, and then I'm, like I said, having it on high heat, and I add the remaining 200 milliliters of red wine. Don't worry, all the alcohol will be gone in the end. It's just the taste that I'm going for. And then I just let it boil, and once it starts to boil, I add the cowberry sauce, and this is homemade one, so there's no sugar in it. Try to get sugar-free one if you really want to go for the paleo food. It's still very lovely, and by adding the cream, you get enough quote-unquote sweetness to the sauce. You could also add a tiny bit of honey if it was just too tart or too sour for you. Now I'm just giving it a stir, and then I'm adding a tiny bit of salt and a bit of pepper. I'm stronger on the pepper here since this is what my husband and I like. We're not the salty kind of people. So I'm just adding it, boiling it, and meanwhile I can fill the pairs with the rest of the cowberry sauce. And the sauce needs maybe, well, let's say 5-ish minutes, and then you can plate up, and that's what it looks like. It's totally yummy. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a very good one. I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.